And I'm back after a little bit of stress when we started out, but we'll talk about that in a second. Hi, my name is Vander Puchert, and I'm a creative entrepreneur, and you are watching the Creative Coffee Break on Friday, 7 o'clock, Warsaw, Poland. And in my accent, you can really hear that I am still a South African, even though I'm hiding away here in Warsaw and drinking coffee on a Friday, as one should, right? Maybe not so late at night, but I think after my little experience now, and I'm going to talk a little bit about experience, I need a bit of coffee. So to tell you what happened behind the scenes is that Marloes logged in and we had like a computer installing software. I must admit, it was a Windows computer. I don't know if that is something that I should talk about later with her about. And you can hear her laughing in the background there. But yeah, so that happened, stress. But the thing is, talking about stress, I kind of thought about what can I talk about before the show, doing all my little housekeeping and things. And I'm reflecting on a lot of conversations I had during the week and even this morning where we spoke about experience. And I think all of us in some form, in some way, have this kind of mental pressure, especially with all the things going on in the world at the moment. And specifically in Poland and in the rest of Europe, we're also going to have like lockdown starting off again tomorrow. So like you have these questions in your mind, like what next? What's going to happen? How long is this going to happen? In my house, for example, we're all getting stressed out because we want to get back to, I mean, we know it's not going to be normal, but to some form of kind of going out and experiencing things. And I'm using the word experience again. And I wanted to share with you something that happened to me yesterday is that I got a little notification and someone sent me a parcel without like telling me. And I went out to the post office and I found this book waiting for me. And the reason I'm mentioning it is that I think even though we're all stuck in this weird pandemic situation, we can still grasp and latch onto different kind of experiences. And the two types of experiences that I'm kind of interested in, specifically what's happening now with us, is the whole idea of meaningful and then memorable experiences. And you know, when you look at memorable experiences, the clever people say those are the experiences that kind of invokes or touches on emotion. So when I got this in the mail, I mean, this meant a lot to me, and I won't forget this. And it's going to be very memorable. In fact, if you're interested, it's a Light in the Attic by Charles Silverstein, and it's like these strange little poems sent to me by my friend Mike. But the other thing that's really cool about the reason I'm talking about this book is that Mike sent me this book because I'll be able to read this with my son later on, and then we'll have a good time together and we'll experience something together by reading this book. And this is where the whole idea of meaningful experiences come in, because, you know, meaningful experiences, when you learn something about yourself, you share with someone, and specifically also when you get to co-create an experience and also have time to reflect on it. So I'm looking forward to that, and I want to encourage you to do the same. And I wasn't building up to a sales pitch, but if you're wondering about something to do and you want to go and do something interesting, I got a notification recently from one of my fellow experience designers, Anthony Rocco, who is really like one of the people that I look up to when it comes to the world of experience design. And he actually informed me that they created this online digital, and it's not really digital per se, but like a community experience where you can go and discover a little bit more and kind of touch on your curiosity. So if you want to go check that out, it's architectingcuriosity.com. They're signing up people now, and apparently there's going to be all kinds of tasks and tools and explorations that you'll be able to do to kind of tweak curiosity. Because I think, like, even I think about the book that Mike sent me, you know, curiosity is important, even in the strange situation that we are in. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about is that there is an event coming up. Someone was crazy enough to invite me to go talk. It's called The Entrepreneurs, and I don't know why they called it this, but it's a fuck up night, and it's really about talking about where you screwed up. And so myself and Seth van der Meer are going to head over there, and it's on the 25th of March. The link is just here somewhere. At Headland Innovation, you can go sign up for that, and it's also somewhere in my profile. But I want to invite you to come listen to where we screwed up, because ultimately there's two things. You learn from failure. We all say that, but we're all shy to talk about our failures. So hopefully we'll be able to do that on the 25th. But that being said, it's time. After a lot of stress and software installations, I want to bring on board and my guest, and also talk to you a little bit about what we're trying to do. So a lot of these live streams that I've seen going around is that it's a lot of talking heads, and of course there's a lot of nice things being said. But Marloes is an innovation consultant from the Netherlands. We might speak a little bit of Afrikaans and Dutch, and she is the owner of Amica Innovate, where they focus on industrial SMEs. She's got a master's degree in strategic product design, and that kind of leads towards what we're going to be talking about a bit later on. And then she helps organizations think about innovation and also anchor that innovation and that kind of thinking in the workplace. And that brings me to also the fact that she's created an awesome tool. That's how we connected, because as you know, I get all geeked out about these tools that go around to help people design interesting things and solve interesting problems. But the thing is, people like Marloes make the design process also an experience in itself. So that's how I bring all these things together. So I'm going to shut my trap and also welcome Marloes. Thanks for joining me on the live stream. And yes, you are now with me on the screen after listening to my long waffle.
Well, thank you, first of all, for having me, Werner. I'm very grateful.
Wow. So where do we start? I mean, the thing is, I did a bit of a short introduction. Probably didn't do you justice at all. If you don't mind just giving the viewers a little bit of a background of yourself, just to get us started.
Yeah, well, sure. I think your introduction was actually very good. So I'm done. No kidding. No, I think it's always a great story to tell from my past is that I'm an industrial SME consultant, as you said before. And so I talk to a lot of owners of industrial SMEs. And those people are often very, they're rational people. So they don't talk very easily about vague stuff like purpose and things like that. So that's why I needed a tool, because every time I asked an owner of an industrial SME, I asked them, why do you want to create this new product? They couldn't tell me why. It is a very difficult question, of course. And maybe you've all heard about the 5 whys. Ask again, why? Yeah, so that's still very hard for some people to just pick that out of the thin air, to give a good answer to that question. So I made a tool, and I know you wanted to talk to me about it, so I'm rushing maybe a bit into.
No. Take your time. I think this is important, right? Because also when you said the 5 whys, I went yes, but I'm actually being very rude because other folks might not know about it. Because in the design thinking process, if you ask sometimes in 5 consecutive times why, you actually get to the true reason of why you want to do something. But let me leave it to you to deep dive.
Yeah, no, I think you're quite correct, and I think that the 5 whys it is said very often, but it's not always used in the right way. Because if I've done it, for instance, I made a form for a client where I let them fill out why, and then sometimes people, they don't realize that we're trying to get to a hierarchy. Okay, so this word I cannot say it loud, but hierarchy. The higher level of hierarchy. So this, if you go deeper on a deeper level of why, it's very hard, because if you ask why do you do it, sometimes it stays on the same level secretly. You're not really getting deeper. So that's of course the importance of having a good facilitator. But anyway, and so the basis of the 5 whys, and also the golden circle of Simon Sinek that most people know, is actually the Socratic ladder. So most people know about the Socratic Method, right? So that Socrates was on a square in the old Greek society, and he was asking to the normal people on the square, okay, so why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you using cotton for your fish nets? Or why are you fishing? And why, okay, so you need food. Okay, why do you need food? And so this is a hierarchical ladder. So the Socratic ladder is about, you're going up when you're asking why. And so the fun thing about the Socratic ladder is, if you go down, you are asking how. So it is okay. It's hard to explain, but sometimes when you're asking why, my son is 7, but when he was 4, he asked why, and sometimes you just answer, well, because the neighbors also have a green door, which is not really going up in the hierarchical ladder, you know. So it's the true art of the 5 whys and the Socratic ladder and the golden circle and my purpose tool.
Excellent. And the thing is, just talking a little bit about purpose, right? Because I think one of the things that we spoke about in one of our pre-sessions, and I think it's in one of your profiles that I also read it, as that sometimes, and I think I've made this mistake in the past, where you kind of confuse passion with purpose. And one of the things that I've seen is actually a very nice book. It's Power of Moments, and I forgot the author now. I'm so professional, but where they talk about, you know, if you create experiences, and I'm kind of drawing it back to experiences on. If you create experiences around passion, it's very selfish. You know, well, I shouldn't say it's selfish, but usually a passion is more about yourself, and it's something that you're focused on. But then when you focus on purpose, usually, and it started making sense to me, purpose is usually where you can rally a lot of people around. Because if you look at the purpose of an organization or a purpose of a product or whatever, it's usually a little bit of a level up. You can actually rally around that. So, I mean, let me...
Yeah, well, there is a difference between the purpose of a person and the purpose of an organization. And both have their own histories in terms of the use of the term purpose in the management environment, you know. So if you're looking at the personal purpose, one of the very helpful tools I like to refer to is Ikigai, which is an old Japanese principle. I don't know if you've heard it, but it is with you know, how do you call it, a Venn diagram with the circles that overlap. And so purpose is the spot center of 4 circles, and you're talking about passion, right? So you're doing what you love to do and what you are very able to do, what you're good at, and then what you're passionate about, so what you love, and then what's good for the world, so what the world needs, and then what makes money, what can help you earn your living, right? So those are 4 circles. Yeah. And so if you're spot in the middle, then of course you have a lovely purpose for yourself. But still, I always also like to say that, you know, this is not for everyone, right? For me, my purpose is very much talking about purpose, but it's not my main money channel. My main money channel is the innovation consultancy, right? So, and I'm also passionate about that, but you know, it's okay to not be spot in the middle of that circle.
For sure. And,
but then for companies, it's different, right, Werner? So
that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, where does companies come into play? Because like the personal thing is important, and I hope it kind of draws through the rest of our conversation, or our demo. But then also there's an organizational aspect to this as well. So if you can riff a little bit on that.
Yeah. So if you look at the history of purpose, it was actually the term came up around the 2000s, and Simon Sinek actually had a very big thing to do with that. But also, maybe you remember that you were talking about experiences before. Pine and Gilmore, I think, right? They wrote this book about the experience economy. Yeah. And so what most people have forgotten is that they actually predicted that we would be talking about purpose right now, because they said, okay, the first economy is food, right? The second economy is industry. The third economy is services. The fourth economy is experiences. And the fifth economy is the transformative economy. Yeah. And this is about helping everyone to fulfill their purpose and to have a sense of happiness in your life. But when you're looking at a company, it's also about raison d'être, right? Why does this company exist? And so this is a bit of a different question, because it is, of course, to help a client. So that's why I refer to the history, because a big thing that came before purpose was branding, right? Yeah. And branding is, of course, getting your message across to clients. And so purpose is a bit higher than just branding, because it takes in your core competences and the raison d'être of the company. So why it was originally founded.
So this might be a silly question because some of the work that I do play a little bit with brand stuff. Like, do you recommend, or should you start looking at purpose before looking at branding? Because I mean, just to clear, like, I'm not talking about the logo and the colors. I'm talking about the vision, the mission, all these things. So do you start off with purpose, or is it kind of mixed into the whole process, or?
Yeah, so this is a very good question, because branding itself as an area has taken a flight as well, so it's starting to get into it, I think. I hope you can still hear me, because you froze
your
on
video
my
is
screen
getting
for a
stuck a
minute.
little bit, but we can still hear the audio. That's why I'm not stopping you.
Okay, it's okay. I will just keep talking.
Technology.
But anyways, yeah, it's horrible. We've done so much to prove it, right? But anyway, no. But so when I went to school, the strategic master you said before, the strategic product design master, we talked a lot about branding. And so there I was taught the branding pyramid by a very famous man called Cap Ferrer, who wrote the book, the Bible on branding, actually. And you get, oh my God, where did you get this book? Oh, that's so great.
Some people think my bookshelf behind me is just for for show, but I have stuff in it.
It's excellent. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's just a very solid book. But I have to note that it's mostly pointed at customers. So when I graduated, I completely switched it around to business services. And it's completely useful for that. But when you read the book, sometimes it's a bit annoying that the examples are only for customers, right?
Yeah.
But in that book, they already are talking about the top of the pyramid is about purpose, really. They just haven't used the words for that yet. But the term branding also, it's so much related to marketing that that's why we all love the word purpose, because it's a fresh start. We can just give our own new meaning to that word.
But it's so super important, though. Like, I really feel like I'm doing a talk next week where I had so much things happen to me in the past where a brand saved my butt. That's one of the things I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I feel like that's super important. Sometimes we overlook it, and we kind of like wing it a little bit and then brand. Because the thing is, you can wing it a little bit and then, your purpose will kind of come to fruition in some way, and maybe it goes in the right direction. But I think if we work with someone like you, and specifically we go over to Zenith, if you're a bit more kind of focused on it, and actually more attentive to defining your purpose, you can save yourself a lot of stress, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's the right point. The purpose is a tool in helping making the right decisions, right? Because purpose, you want to fulfill it, right? You want to fulfill your purpose. So every time you make a decision, it is a chance for you to get closer to fulfilling your purpose.
Yeah, and you can align your new ideas and because the thing is, a lot of times, especially now, people come up with ideas. We need to do this, that, and then if you align with your North Star, you can kind of, make sure you're doing the right thing. I'm losing my words today. I think we need to flip over to Afrikaans and Dutch.
Laten we dat doen. Ja, lijkt me een goed idee.
Heel gaaf. Marloes, now to go to the next part of our conversation, because we also said that this is going to be interactive, right? And
we're talking heads now, right?
Yeah, this is now where the magic comes in, right? Because this is why we met in the first place. Because I have a problem with all these little design tools, and you are the creator of the magical Zenith Purpose Anatomy. So, and this, before we put it through its paces, because we're going to do some work here, and for everybody watching this, I didn't get free consulting. Marloes was actually kind to offer, okay? So if
and I'm sending you a bill. You don't know that yet, but I will.
I think cool,
okay,
Marloes. I'm joking. Tot ziens. So Marloes, Afrikaans jokes. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about this awesome thing on the screen here. Just a little bit of background, because there's a lot of research that gone into it. Let's talk a little bit about how it works, what it is, where did it come from, and I will just control everything you need. You tell me if I need to flick over to the other slides, and then over to you.
Yeah, great. Okay, like I said before, I needed some tool that would help me to talk to people who find it difficult to talk about their purpose. And I needed a pick and choose tool, right? But how do you make a pick and choose tool for something that is as large as, you know, the universe in terms of words you would like to pick for your own purpose, right? I mean, for you, it can be connection, or it can be trust, or it can be innovation, or some kind of ethical thing. And for me, it is maybe, you know, order or structure or safety, or, okay, I'm not saying that it is, right? But just examples. There are so many things that can be your purpose. And so what I analyzed hundreds of corporate values, and I categorize them, because I realized that, for instance, trust and empathy, they are two very different purposes, but still you can feel they are connected. They both have something to do with liking other people, being social, and helping others. You know, it's the connection kind of category. So I've done a lot of work, and I've put my whole wall full with Post-its and started to categorize them. And I finally came to 7 categories, which are, I can, if you like, I can tell you which they are. Do you have that slide with the 7
Yes, let's go there. I mean, we might have to click through. This is the one.
That's fine.
Okay, there they are.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I cannot read them. No, okay, so I know them by heart, of course.
Yeah.
I know them by heart, don't worry. No, so they're like freedom, which is the light blue one. There's safety and security in the middle, which is the bear, the brown one. And there's progress, which is the dark blue one. We have connection, the fish, and wisdom is owl. And then, okay, I'm doing this in a bit of a random order, but we have a performance, which is the fox, and the reindeer is competence. So these are the 7 the 7 categories of purpose items that you can pick.
But don't worry, like we are going to go through them again, because we're going to demo it. So like we're going to zoom in on the other side. But this is like just to give you an idea. 7 animals, 7 categories. I think the next one, if I may, would probably be this one, because
that's great.
You have the animals, but there's actually a thinking around the things that happen around. I mean, you're actually building the bodies. So I'm getting way too excited.
I'm excited because you're excited, so that's great. Now, you know, what I told you about before was the Socratic ladder, right? So if you go up, you ask why, and if you go down, you ask how.
Yeah.
You know, you remember?
Yes.
So the deepest why is purpose, right? This is where you live for. That's the ultimate why. And so I've put that card in the heart. So the heart of the fox is performance. That's the ultimate why card. So if you go down a bit on the Socratic ladder, the next layer is, what do you want? What is your aim? And this we have put in the brain, right? So you can see also the word brain. The top 2 cards is the brain of the animal.
So where you see in this specific, so in this, sorry, I cut you off there, but I just wanted like to indicate visually, like where you see influence and to achieve, that is the brain, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you want in life, right? So for instance, if you pick the completely orange animal and it's all about you, this is your animal, which would be unique if you pick only cards from one color. But then you would have, what do you want in life? I want influence and high regard, and I want to achieve, and I want to get ahead. Why do you want it? Because you value performance in your life, right?
Yeah.
And then how will you achieve influence and to get ahead? By your hands and feet. right? So
Exactly.
the next layers, the hands and the feet, they are your character traits and your skills that you will use as your tools in order to achieve what you want. So you can see here, actually, Werner, what you said before about your passion, you can see how here we are combining that with your competences,
Okay.
right?
Makes sense. And in this
Yeah.
example, just to read it out, if someone can't see it, it's like, so we have their hands on the side there. That's tenacious, willpower, and competitive and ambitious. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've made a difference between character traits and skills, because this is
Yeah.
actually taken from branding theory, where a company also has a personality. I don't know if you've ever heard this. It's from the Kapferer pyramid.
Yeah.
And so if you call the help desk, I always say, okay, what if you imagine that a big company that everyone knows, please help me, what's a big Apple? So what if
Apple.
Apple was an animal? What kind of animal would it be? What is its character? How would you be scared? Is it fierce, or is it lovable and cuddly? So that's the brand personality, and that is in the hands. So that's expressed
Oh,
in the
okay.
hands.
That makes sense. Okay. Cool.
And the feet are your competences, because, of course, when an animal is strong, the jumping power comes from the feet, right? From the
Yes.
legs. So that's where the competences are. And in case of the performance animal, which is represented by the fox, those are attention to image and presentation, and productivity and efficiency. So when I look at this particular animal, I'm thinking about banking, big consultancy. Those are the companies that are all about performance, and they are all about productivity. You can imagine, right?
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
there are people who are like this.
yeah. And for all my Deloitte
Yeah.
friends watching, you're a
Yeah,
fox.
this is you. You're a fox. Well, anyway, and then there's another difference, and that's between right and left, which is very interesting because it's about the human brain, right? You
Yeah.
have rational stuff, like productivity and efficiency. It's very rational, it's measurable, let's say. And intuitive is much more about your reptile brain, let's say, right? So it's not the prefrontal cortex stuff, which can be rationalized and discussed, and pro con lists and stuff. No, this is about your intuition and the decisions you can make in a heartbeat. That's the right side of this.
Exactly. So, and the thing is now talking a little bit about, I mean, we're going to go through the practical process of this, but just to give everybody an idea, because I just want to flick back to, I mean, I'm trying to do this by controlling two computers, and I'm not doing well here. I might cause electric fire at some stage, but here, I mean, the thing is the idea and the flow, and I don't want to, is that you're going to take aspects of these different animals and then actually build your own unique animal. Correct.
Exactly. Yes.
That's the
Yes, I haven't touched on that, but you're completely right. So I think, Werner, you would be a fish, bird,
some of the
reindeer.
thing. Yeah, let's see what happens. But the other thing I wanted to just I just want to get out of this view here, and back here is just before we jump in, because we have a bit of a challenge of actually going through the process and as an example, and I'm selfishly getting you to do something for me, right? But the Zenith tool, right? Where have you used this? Have you used it in different kinds of projects? What kind of stuff have you done? Because I mean,
Yeah.
we spoken about personal and corporate kind of businessy stuff, but
Yeah.
do you have an experience in that?
Yeah. So next to what I just said about the meeting with the owners of industrial SMEs, we have discovered. I've been working with Traction Toolbox. I think they were a guest of
I've
yours, right,
I've heard
Werner?
about them somewhere. I've heard about them.
It's a big coincidence that I'm here also.
Yeah. The only thing that's
But
good is that
anyway,
you're not Canadian, else I've been in deep trouble.
yeah, sure. Yeah, but anyway, they are actually very skilled people in terms of finding good tools
Yeah.
like mine. No, but I mean, but I'm saying they are very talented in thinking about what you need to use for training and coaching, and for brand building, and for all kinds of applications.
Yeah.
So, for instance, yesterday I got the opportunity be a fly on the wall while they were doing Zenith with a client. And this was actually a firm with different silos, different departments. And they were trying to have those departments work together better, right? To have more of a sense that you're one company together. And so they let everyone individually build their own animal and then take it to their team and then build a team animal. And then the team leaders would go into some kind of center table, and the other people would be around it digitally, right? And they would present each other the team animal, and then they would build the company animal.
That's
right.
amazing.
So this is super interesting. Yeah. And so, of course, sometimes a management team can say, but we know what the purpose is, right? And that's totally fine. Then you can say, what animals do my employees make? And do they match at all? Or is there no similarity at all? Because, of course, that's important too, right? To realize it.
I mean,
so
yeah, I'm happy you mentioned it, because sometimes I've had before where we talk about things like brand, vision, mission, that kind of stuff, and people, clients will say to me, "But it's written down. We have it here." But the thing is, once you go into a session, and you start talking to people and you start extracting what they understand as that words written down, then you get like complete misalignments. And that's where things get interesting, because how do you realign people again around that? Or what is the actual thing? Do we have to reposition? Yeah, I think we underestimate that power. The other thing I want to ask you, and I might be throwing a curveball here because, I don't want to put you in the spot, but the thing that popped into mind, because, I mean, honestly, in this week, I was working with a client and I was thinking, damn it, I can use this here because I'm going to apply it into some kind of employee experience thing that we are doing. But and I could see how I could fit it in and work it out. But the thing is, how do you plug this? So you work out purpose. Where do you plug in, or what would be the next step? Let's say in a team space. So everybody's now figured out this is our purpose. I always like to think about what is the next step beyond that. But I know it's not necessarily maybe where you focus. But what would be the next thing?
Yeah. So what I love about the topic of purpose, even if you don't use Zenith at all, that doesn't, just pick another way to define your purpose. I don't mind. But there are so many ways, existing processes that have been built for change management or design or even enterprise design. I don't know if you've heard about this. So you're thinking about your company as something that can be designed, right? Which I love. And so there are processes there, processes like lean or design thinking or even Scrum. And purpose can be pulled into those processes and just be revisited at every stage. So what do you think would be a good example of a process I just mentioned?
For me, the one way that I was thinking about it, and I'm just shooting from the hip here, is that I was really thinking about using purpose as some kind of like design, design principles, because sometimes, you go into a process where you have to come up with certain ideas, or, and of course you have to come up with a problem statement, right? To make sure that you're focusing on the right place. And then you've done your empathy side of things. But if you use some kind of design principles, and I thought purpose could play into that, where you can align the solution and say, okay, cool, but does it align with our principles? And I wanted to draw it back to purpose.
Yeah. So I've been to design school, right, as we said before, and what we did there was, at the beginning of every process, we made a bill of requirements, right? And so these originally were technical requirements, right? So I'm designing a video camera and the resolution needs to be this or this or that, 200 megapixels, I don't know. But for us, we learned that if you are strategically designing products or experiences for that matter, then you can put in all kinds of requirements. And so you can say this definition needs to be met by this design. And you think, oh, but how can we test that? Well, just put it, I think that every client who has a similar purpose definition can immediately say, yes, I'm drawn to this product or not, you know?
Yeah. But I also think, I mean, there's an awesome book. You might have heard of it. It's called Beautiful Constraints, right? Where they play around, you know, it's very hard to design things or come up with ideas if you don't have any constraints. I mean, I feel that if you don't give me a brief or, you know, what's the budget or, you know, who am I designing for? What's the actual problem? Like, add things, constrain the process.
Right.
And I think you can also look at purpose as constraints, because if you don't have, and constraints aren't necessarily bad. It's like just keep people from going nuts. Anyway, talking about going nuts, can we play now, Marloes?
Yeah, let's stop being talking heads and just do it.
Yeah,
Can I just say something before we do? Because you already had a picture just a minute ago, but it's actually I already originally made a toolbox, right? So can you see it? Is it in the screen?
Perfect,
No, I have to
perfect. Let me take you to the big screen. Make you. Yeah, the internet is just being bad with us here. Yeah. Okay, there I can see it.
So originally Zenith was a deck of cards, but of course we were all hit by Corona, and so me and my great team at Traction Toolbox, we have put together an online version within 1 month, which was crazy.
That's
and
amazing.
I loved the process, and I'm really proud, of that. And so now we have an online tool that you can use, Werner. Oh yes, you.
Yeah,
okay.
I nearly forgot about the video you did.
Yeah, viewers weren't supposed to know that this was all pre-set up, right? No, just this part about the video. No, it's I'm messing it up. Okay. Anyway.
Never. Okay, so that gives people an idea,
of course, right? Yeah, right. So, and what we said also, we are big physical tool lovers, right? Even in Corona, if you have some budget, please send this box to your employees or your clients and let them do it at home, because it's such a good experience with a deck, right? But if you're not able to, or if you're poor, if you don't have the time, we have an online tool, and it's actually very well put together by my dear friends at Traction.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting, and like you mentioned, because it broke up a little bit there, but I caught it, is that, you know, it's just to reiterate what you said, it's always good to have like the physical tool, you know, to have something that you can touch and feel and move around. But I mean, of course, we have this little shared problem. But talking about digital tools, let's head over. If you're cool, let's go over there. And I'm also cognizant, and apologies for all the internet problems. It's just our luck. But Marloes, you're coming through okay. I can at least hear what's going on, so that's fine. And
I'm sorry. So, I hope it's not a problem at my end.
No, well, I'm super comfortable. I'm just worried that you know, I'll let you know if something goes completely off, but we can definitely hear you. It's just the technology gods are not smiling on us today, but we're having a good time. Anyway, cool.
Yeah. Okay. So shall I give you a quick run through the process, Werner?
Yes, please. And
just
then also
let you know what you need to do.
And Eddie, yes. And the other thing is I wanted to say, so Marloes, you and anybody watching this at the moment, if I scroll too much and go left and right and make you seasick, let me know in the comments, okay? Because I'm known to be a prolific scroller and zooming in and zooming out. So
okay.
This is very new for me. So okay, cool. Okay, here we have is step 1 of the process. And
so exactly, as you can see, you know, when you're a facilitator, you can have a membership to the Zenith tool, and then you can make accounts for your clients, right? So in this case, I was your facilitator, and I sent an account to Werner, a personal account. And so Werner had to log in, and now he can see, okay, I have to do step 1, 2, 3, 4. And step 1 is first to get acquainted with the cards. So in a normal physical situation, I would just hand you the card deck, right?
Exactly.
And so the idea of this is to get acquainted with the 7 animals by first looking at the heart cards and then looking at the cards around it to just get a sense, oh, right, okay, so the deer is competence, and competence is, you know, being very capable and perfectionistic and curious. And so you get a sense, right, of what the deer is all about.
Great.
And so if you're done, you can click this away if it works, Werner.
Yeah.
How
I mean,
do I
you must
say?
remember,
Is
I'm
it
male. I read very slowly, Marloes. You know, don't rush me.
Really? Is that a male thing now?
It is multitasking, you know. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Here is
Yeah.
safety and security.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So here you can also very well see that, order and structure is for a lot of companies actually a value on its own, and it's completely fine. But you can
Yeah.
always ask, why are you ordered and structured, right?
Great.
And so for many people, it is safety and security, and you feel safe and secure. But of course, you can also use the arms and legs of safety and security to fulfill another hard card.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. For example, I mean, I can, like, the first thing I see here is like safety and security. Like one of the elements there is like control, right? And if you go to the softer side, certainty or of existence. But the control part, so you can maybe transplant the control part into something and into your own animal.
Exactly.
But then the control there is kind of a bit of a line through to why is that control there, is because it's kind of aligned with safety and security. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just the category it's in. But as you can see with most entrepreneurs, for instance, is that actually you want to have control because you value freedom, right? So control is your main prerequisite in order for you to be entrepreneurial. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that is how control can feed into your purpose of freedom.
The other thing I want to ask you, though, this is a sneaky one, so, I mean, when you say entrepreneur / control, it resonates with me. But if I look at it from a different perspective, maybe from a corporate, can I interpret that control in my own way? Or is it prescribed?
Yeah. Well, yes, you can interpret it in your own way, but you do need to remember why it is in that specific place
It's
in
still
the
aligned
animal.
with safety and security, the previous one. So as long as if in my mind I look at control, but I go, but the root of control is safety and security. That's, okay. So here we have wisdom.
Yeah. Okay. Wisdom. Yeah. So wisdom, we can see that's really funny. We have a new part of the online tool, which is analytics. And so you can, if you have a group of people that you let them build their own animal, you can analyze for instance, which department picks the most colors, right? And it's very interesting. And what I have noticed lately is that if you're growing in age, you are also picking more purple cards. And so this is really interesting, right? And I feel like this is very great to have as a purpose because you gain wisdom, and sharing that wisdom with other people is such a valuable thing. So
Exactly.
I love that this particular animal for that
nice
reason.
To see what's happening in the back. Okay, so we're going to click through some of these quickly. We're going to revisit them again. But here we have progress. It's a platypus, looks like.
No, it's a beaver because they are building dams, right? They're innovative. They're builders.
I should have gone through
so
my
they're just
animal
symbols,
cards more
right?
carefully. Yeah.
So I have picked these, right? And they are easy on the eyes to symbolize things that are well known throughout mainly Western society, right? So, wisdom is power. It's just that easy. And so don't read too much into that.
Okay. I know my friends are going to make fun of me because I didn't recognize the animal, but that's a whole different one. So, but I mean, I can see here, I mean, progress. I'm kind of drawn to some of the elements here, like innovation, ethically driven. Reminds me a little bit of my previous guest, Jens, who is kind of the innovation guy.
Yeah.
When's doing the right thing.
I heard it. It's great.
Nice alignment here.
Yeah. But Werner, so can I ask you, we have looked at, because I feel like we should flip it around a bit, right? You've been interviewing me, but it's of course high time that I start interviewing you, right?
Yes.
So what is, so I don't know if this is normal for your guests, but this is what we planned, of course, that I
Of
would help
course.
you with your
No,
purpose.
This is
So
all
what?
you. This is from here on. Is all you're in
Yeah,
control. You're in control.
yeah, right. So if you're looking at these animals, what are 2 or 3 animals that appeal to you the most immediately? Do you know?
I mean, if I look at these, right? So, I mean, I can't believe I'm going to say this, and it's got nothing to do with my age, but it's really I'm a lot like I like the wisdom one, and
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that, you know, and in some way also I'm kind of attracted to the whole freedom one, in the sense of freedom, making your own decisions, individuality. Because I think, like, even in experience, you want to think about building experiences that are individually meaningful to people. I think also in this freedom one, there's like creativity and exploration that I love, playful and imaginative, and finding opportunities and inner drive. Escapism.
Okay,
So yeah, I must say, like, from the ones the freedom
yeah.
and the wisdom is kind of interesting, but then I don't want to veer away from potentially performance and progress. Can I have all of them?
Yes, you can, because there are 7 spots in the animal, so you can pick 7 different colors in your final animal.
And there's one thing we forgot, though. I mean,
So, but
we want to figure out a
yeah.
purpose for something, right? This is a working session.
Oh,
And
we forgot about this. Yes.
yeah, it's like, what purpose are we doing here, Marloes? Like, I'm doing your job.
Yes. So, Werner, can I ask you what would you like to define purpose for today?
So it's going to be a huge surprise to you. I mean, we did discuss this one before. So one thing, you know, I've been thinking is I'm messing around online. I'm doing all these things. I'm dragging people from their evenings off into live streams. So I really want to work out what is the purpose of doing these live streams or creating this content that I create on LinkedIn. What is, you know, what do I want to?
Why did you feel the need? Why did you feel the need to think about this?
So, I mean, I think sometimes, I mean, and I kind of hang my hat on this, is that there's this idea of rapid prototyping and like getting something out. I like to get things done and test it and then learn from it. But then some stage, I also believe that you need to make decisions. You need to align with something. And I think I've done a few of these now, and I want to anchor it a little bit more so that I can be more mindful about what I'm doing with this platform. So that's kind of why I want to do that.
But is it then, you know, there's multiple answers possible, right? So do you want to know why you are doing it? So why you are drawn to it? Or do you want to do it to ask yourself, how does this help me fulfill my purpose? Or is it what is the real purpose of, you know, what is my skill that that has value for the people who are watching this right now? Do you
And
know what I mean? There are
yes.
different ways,
So
different reasons to talk about purpose.
can I pitch this at you? So let's see if this will work.
Yeah.
Is that I think the one of the big challenges I have at the moment is that I have so many different interesting people that I want to bring on and have conversations with. Because I mean, for example, I'm talking to you, but then last week I spoke to Jens, and the week before I've got Tamara and them. And then I also know that some of the people in the future I'm going to be talking to are completely different to you, Marloes. Like, I mean, not every show is going to be about tools, but I think what I need to do is I need to bring everybody together, and I believe I can do that under some kind of umbrella, some kind of purpose. So I want to work out the purpose of this so that I can also guide the content structure of what goes into the show.
Yeah. So it has to do with consistency, right?
Yeah,
And recognizability. And does it have to do something also a little bit about being able to tell other people what your promise is when they watch this show every week?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, but please do remember that still your skills weigh very much into this, right? Because your skills are the thing that makes you good at this, and that are actually very valuable to the people who are watching this. You know,
makes sense.
So it's not just about choosing content, but it's also about what you know, really the Ikigai thing we said before, right? So what is it about you that makes this LinkedIn Live thing so special, right?
Exactly.
You can be a bit selfish in this case.
Let's do it.
So I would like to push you to don't be shy and put yourself into it as well.
Okay, I'll try and be very humble. Okay, not humble. Sorry.
Not humble,
Okay,
right? Okay, so
great.
if you're done with the step, did you look at all the animals
I had a
closely enough, or
fair
do you
amount of
feel like,
scanning here. Yes, I'm happy.
yeah?
Shall we click on
Because
step
then you
2?
can proceed to step 2, and don't worry, because in the next step, all the animals will still be there, and you can just take another close
Oh,
look.
okay. Now things are getting interesting.
Yeah. So as you can see right here, here is an empty animal, right?
Yes,
And
sitting
this
right
is
here in the
your
middle.
blank canvas. Yeah. So
Okay,
if you would like to go back to the top again, scroll back to the top for one
okay.
moment. So we are in step 2. And step 2, you know, in design, right, you first diverge and then you converge, right?
Yes.
Converge. So first you're choosing a lot, you're putting a lot of cards in your selection, and then in step, so don't be shy, put in,
So I
up
can
to
start,
3
right?
cards in every circle.
Okay.
Yeah, and then step 3 is your selecting your final
Yes,
one.
got
Okay,
it. So I'm
so
gonna
go
start
ahead.
thinking about things here. So I mean, if, for example, I like, let's see here, like,
Yeah,
I
but
like,
Werner, can
yeah,
I just
yeah,
add
go.
something? Because in the last step, I asked you what are the 2 or 3 animals that you like the most, right? That intuitively appeal to you the most.
Yeah.
And I
So
would recommend to start with those.
okay. So
So,
not in a linear fashion like I'm doing at the
no,
moment. So that was oopsie. Did
yeah,
I
okay,
remove
it's
that?
great because
Okay.
you can
Okay.
see the mechanics of this tool. It's very easy, right?
Yeah, I
You
didn't
just
realize I
click
can
on
do
a
that.
card.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I liked that one,
if,
and that one was
yeah,
drawn to, and then also I think it was freedom was the other one that I enjoyed. So you can put up to 3 of them into a circle, right?
up to 3. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And so if you click on another hard card, just you can see what happens, right? Because the tool will
I
guide
was gonna
you.
say no, don't do that.
Ah, now it's, yeah, but it says something interesting because it says this is an opportunity to review and reflect on the selection you have
Okay,
made, and you have the option to remove a card and add a new one, right?
great.
So it is of course a funnel, right? We are trying to push you to go from 49 cards to go all the way down to 7.
To your little to your
So
thing. Okay, great. But I'm actually very happy with the
yeah,
ones that I've chosen at this stage. So
great.
I'm gonna go because I want to just zoom in here and look at some of these.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, I'm kind of like, and I can just build this out now, right? So I mean, I'm liking here
yeah,
like plan ahead because let me see. Okay, and then that certainty of existence. But now what's happening here is as I'm selecting these animals or the cards, it's filling out here, right? So
yeah.
I just want to
So what
because
happens
yeah,
is, yeah, you don't have to think about what circle it needs to go in, right? The
it
tool
just
does this
jumps.
for you,
Yeah.
right? It
So
just
I just
jumps. So
have
at
to.
this stage, you don't, yeah, just go all around them and just select the ones that
Okay,
you relate to.
I'm attracted to that one, meaningful life, and then ownership and accountability. I'm definitely like you're gonna laugh, but like
You're liking the
this.
purple one, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Am I getting old?
yeah. So that's no,
Okay,
no, but
let's go to because this one is also yeah opportunity, yeah, oh yeah, creative
mhm,
exploration, definitely.
mhm, mhm. Yeah,
Mindful and playful is
yeah,
definitely one that I know that I've recognized. Let me just go back here.
yeah. Yeah, so
Oh
I can
yeah,
imagine that these cards are very important for you in the sense that this LinkedIn Live event, the creativity and the freedom that you experience when you're looking at the whole world and all the possibilities, you are conveying this to the people who are watching you, right? So
exactly.
this is an important one for you. I can completely understand that.
Yeah, I'm definitely drawn to this one. Only thing is I also want to I just want to sneak into the
Yeah,
performance one
right. Exactly.
and
Yeah.
look at this because I mean there's definitely yeah, let me see productivity, efficiency. I mean, attention to image presentation, tenacious willpower. I'm kind of drawn to that one, especially from an
I can imagine.
entrepreneurship perspective.
And also, you have Deloitte friends, right? So you do need to please them.
This is the only place that I overlap with them.
Exactly. So you're friends for some reason, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Competitive, ambitious. I mean, there's a lot of elements here, but I think it's also because like I have a lot of friends in that space that it's kind of a given. That's why I'm not taking so much here. I'm also trying to think about, where I want to go with this.
That's a really good point you are making. Yes, it's a good point, because why are you doing this? Because in the end, you can download this picture, put it on your wall, and it should inspire you, right? So the choices you make, you are completely right to keep away from the givens, the ones that are not new to you, that are just there, and that's fine, and you can rely on them. Don't put them in there, because they will not inspire you, right?
Exactly.
You have to pick the ones that give you new information. Yeah, and on the other hand, if there are things that you are very good at and they are your core competences, and those are the ones that create value for your viewers, then you should put them in there. And so it can be a combination of things that are new to you and things that you already own, possess, or have.
It. And I must say, like, talking about this connection one here, like the empathy and relational skills, and then bringing people together and then anticipating needs, is both of them are quite interesting for me as well, in a sense of where.
Why do you? Because okay.
Because I mean, I think like, so
for
example.
I just ask you?
Yeah, let's go back.
Yeah, you just picked a card a while ago that I was curious about why you picked it, and it's in the right hemisphere. The what? No, it's
what? This one.
Yeah?
Independent autonomy.
Yeah? No, you said to have a meaningful life. And so what does that card mean to you?
I think, like it well, I don't want to use the word purpose, but like when I said a meaningful life is to find purpose, I think we want to have some kind of impact on people, right? And I think for me, the whole idea of meaningful and doing the things we do is we want to inspire, we want to impact, we want to, like, else it's just me doing it on my own, or, like what is meaningful here? So, and also meaningful in a way, also, emotion, that kind of stuff comes into play. So, yeah.
I can also imagine in your case that this combines very well with some green cards, right?
Yes.
The connection cards.
Exactly. Okay, well, sorry, I'm clicking on the wrong stuff here. I want to head over here to the beaver, not the platypus, Vander. Okay, progress. So innovation. Oh, hell yes. I mean, that's a key topic, but that might verge a little bit on the givens, although there's a lot to explore there. Make the world a better place. Yeah, I might. Win-wins, doing the right thing. Ideas into action. Are you okay there? Because the only thing we need now is...
I don't have corona, by the way. No, I don't, really.
Okay, so... Okay, we're running a bit over. I hope you have time, because we're having way too much fun here. So, I have...
Yeah, my husband is putting my kids to bed, so I'm not worried at all.
Thank you, husband.
Yes, thank you.
I want to change something here. Okay, so I think I'm going to take that one out. Ownership and accountability, because it's kind of a little bit of a given. Because I want this other one. I'll tell you now. I'm going to go here. Oopsie. Why did I do that? Which one did I take out? Wisdom.
Right.
Yeah,
so you put in the blue heart card. I think that was not your intention.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
So I need to put that one back. I'm using this tool like my dad uses the internet. I know he's watching. So he's going to laugh.
But is it your fault or the UX designer's fault?
It's definitely the UX people. So no, jokes aside. So ideas into action, I mean, seriously, this is super important for me. Like I feel sometimes what happens in the design world and the conversations we have, it's like, okay, great, it's all up in the air, but where's the, where's the action? So that's super important.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to put that in
Great
there.
choice. Yes.
But
I
it's
love
weird.
it.
I haven't done any right
It's
arm
really
stuff
great.
here.
Yeah.
Marloes, what's happening?
Yeah, focus on them. Yeah, just focus on them for a minute. Yeah.
Curious is
You're not a
interesting.
curious person?
Very.
Okay, so this is
Why,
about the competence, right?
yeah.
I can see that you are a person with a bookcase full of stuff. So you are very much about knowledge, right? About knowing things and about finding out how everything works. So I think the yellow curious one is perfect for you.
Definitely drawn to that. I just want to see what's happening in the wisdom. Yeah, that's important. And then let's see, because I'm just going through solution focus here. I'm kind of, yeah, I'm going to put it in. I'm not convinced. Solution focused as one of the house.
Yeah. Okay. So also, what you're doing right here is it's perfect because in the next step you are, as my friend Tamara from Traction 2 says, she says you're picking out your favorite items in your closet, your clothing, and then in the next step you're putting together your final outfit. So you can change it. You can think, okay, I will put my red pants with my gray sweater, or I can put my gray sweater with my green pants and my blue socks. I don't know what kind of wardrobe you have, but I mean,
I'm a
what you're
very
doing right
fashionable
now.
guy, so like.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
You're not
Not
okay.
kidding.
So I'm
No, but just saying, this is in the next step you can pick between, because the two blue ones you have on the right side are solution focused and ideas into action. And I can really imagine that when you're trying on your outfit, you either choose one or the other. And that also depends on what other cards you want to put in.
Great. So Marloes, I'm happy to proceed if you are.
I am, yes, definitely.
Okay.
The next step is where all the magic happens.
Now this is going to be tough now, man.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you can see what happened here, right?
Okay, let's
you
go
have
to
the
the top so
circles
you can
around it.
Okay.
Yeah. So the choices you made before, they have been pushed to the side. So if this was a real table, you've just put all your choices on the edge. And now in the center is where you will build your final animal.
Okay,
and
great.
So I would recommend you, Werner, to start with the top circle, which is the heart card.
Heart card.
Do you have any idea which of the three cards you would choose?
I clicked on wisdom by mistake.
Yeah.
But I am drawn to wisdom.
I know. I knew you would. Yeah.
I'm just such a archetype, right? But I mean, I think safety and security, yes. Progress, definitely. But I think the combination of the other ones kind of like drives to progress. And ultimately, like, I feel like a lot of people that I'm talking to and the things that I want to convey, and one of the huge things here at the heart needs to be some kind of like wisdom or insight. So definitely drawn to that one.
Can I ask you, is this your choice? Is it for your channel or for you or for both?
Both.
Yeah, I think so, right?
Yeah.
And so this is why this channel is a perfect tool for you.
Exactly. So, I mean, definitely a win for me on that one. Okay, so where do I go from here, facilitator?
Now you have to do your brain. So those are the two top circles.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Left or right, I don't mind. Is there anything
Let's go to there.
Immediately know?
I think if I have to, so this one here, I'm gonna go for individuality. That certainty of existence, it's there. But I do think that, especially people that I talk to, I mean, I got to meet you and all kinds of interesting people. Also, when we talk about experiences and also transformational experiences, there's this individuality that I feel is very important. We are not all the same. So that is very important for me.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. Okay. So now you're on the right track.
Yeah.
Can you still hear me? Because it's falling on my.
Yes, it's breaking up a little bit, but I can still hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because you're on the right track. Because now you have to look at why this card is in this particular spot. So this particular spot in the animal says, what do you want? Do you want to be individualistic? Do you want to be different than other people? Do you want to have your own voice? Or is it more important? What is the brown one again?
Certainty of existence.
Yeah. Yeah. So is that what you want? Certainty of existence?
No, for me, it's more about individuality, and not in a bad way, because I mean, at the end of it, I think we're all unique and we can add value in our own way. But because we are individuals, we can come together, right? So you know,
And so, can you still say, what do you want? Individuality. Why do you want it? Wisdom. Is that still true? Is that still
yes,
correct?
because
Great, fantastic.
makes sense
Yeah,
for
I
me.
agree. Yeah, me too.
Okay, so I'm jumping the gun here. I just went to the right brain now.
You're doing very well.
Ooh, okay. So for me, I'm leaning towards, and hopefully it's not going to be too juxtaposed, but I'm leaning towards the innovation one, and to have a meaningful life. I think I'm more of the meaningful life person. Or I mean, what I'm saying for the show. So I'm going to add that one in. Let's see if it works, because now there's two pinks here. And if I have to rationalize it a little bit, is that I think, in combination, the overarching idea is always about, I mean, for example, you're an innovation consultant, but we're not talking necessarily about innovation as a topic or driving innovation, but I think bringing all kinds of different segments and things together as individuals as to then ultimately drive some kind of meaning, right? So
Yeah,
that's
I
why
think also that why you pick the word innovation is because you are drawn to that word, and but there are other elements in this animal that will enable you to express that particular thing you like about the word innovation.
got it. I
It
agree,
will
yeah.
get back in the other arms and legs. So now you are going to the how, right? So
Yes,
all
the
the
how.
4 left cards are how. So this is important to understand. So you can do either things you are already very good at, and you think are crucial for your channel and for the value for your clients or viewers, or you can do things that you think, ooh, I'm a bit, I don't know if I am able to already pick that card. Am
Yeah,
I
so
good enough? Really?
yeah,
Do it. Please do it. I recommend that you do it when you're
yeah.
doubting about it, because
So I
it will
mean,
inspire you.
yeah, so the one that is kind of a given for me that I'm probably not going to pick is the playful imaginative, because I think that is kind of a given. And I'm not always drawn to it, because I want to go, like, I think play is important and having imagination is important, but I don't want to anchor on that. I want to drive more to either being more mindful. And I think the difficult one for me here is because in a way, personally, I want to have the willpower, the tenacious willpower, because sometimes when I hit that live button, I stress out, and it takes willpower to continue with this. But then the other one that draws me is the intuitive and mindful, and I think I'm going to probably lean towards that one more. Um, I'm going to add that one. Whoa, it's again with the pink.
It's it may sound very patronizing, but I'm really proud of you for not picking the light blue one. And I think this is where you reach personal growth at this particular point in the experience, right? Because now you realize, okay, yes, I'm playful and imaginative. And you probably thought that your whole tool loving head was your core business. And now all of a sudden, it's a different thing, and your
Exactly.
meaning becomes something new on the internet, right?
Becomes a bit broader, right?
Because and also you're not picking your guests purely on, oh, there's a new tool and it's so very cool. No, it's about being mindful and about why is this an important person
Yeah.
and why is this an important tool? Why do I want to talk about that? That's
Ex-
mindfulness and
yeah,
intuitive
and I
and
think it's
taking.
exactly the reason why I wanted to have the conversation, because I mean I'm geeking out about this tool you created, but at the underlying, having a conversation around purpose is actually what kind of draws me into it, right? Because I
Exactly,
think
sure. Yeah.
okay, so okay,
Yeah, and
cool.
but also I think that the orange one is still very interesting, because I experienced as a guest also that you were tenacious and you had a goal in your head with this with me and with the channel, and it helped me a lot, you know. So I think that this is also a very important skill. So and also a surprising thing, I think, right?
Yeah, but I think that the
And
reason I kind of didn't go with that one is that
yeah,
it's interesting that you talk about it from your perspective, but for me it was like a personal thing because I'm going, what is for the channel, what is for personal for me. So I need to work a lot on this willpower and tenaciousness for myself. Like it's a continuous
no, you
thing.
don't, because you are already very good at it, better than
Thank
you
you.
think. Yeah, that's really true.
I should
And
really
I
pay you
think
for
also,
consulting and therapy.
and also, you know what you don't, what's of course maybe you already realized it, but I'm just realizing that your channel, it is a double-sided platform, right? Because it is useful for your clients, but for the viewers, sorry, but it's also useful for me, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you're offering value to the people who are watching, and you're offering value to me. And so this is where this tenacious thing is really important, you know. And still, I do also love the mindful one. So
Yeah, it's a
it's your
difficult
animal.
one,
I don't
right?
care.
So you have to make a choice. I'm gonna stick with that one, but I can hear what you're saying. I can hear what you're saying. So if you go to the how using which character traits, rational. Okay, so I'm gonna open up this one. Curious, dedicated to craft, future focus, solution focus, or seeking new experiences. I'm gonna go with curious on this one.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, like my friends at the beginning of the show, like I think there's a lot to say about curiosity and the role of curiosity. And damn it, this is why you here. I'm super curious and
Yeah.
great
And I think
stuff.
this is why you didn't need to pick the innovation card before, because now you're picking the curious card.
Exactly. This is really cool. I'm loving this. I like if you're still watching this and with us, like I really like recommend checking this out. This is like like even just the conversation is valuable. And I can imagine if you have a team or something and the team
Yeah.
goes through this process. Okay, this one. Creativity, exploration, empathy, relational skills. I'm gonna go with creativity and exploration. I feel like empathy is built into what we do as part of the process. Um,
Okay, can
but
I just, you know,
go for it.
I don't know if there's a lot of facilitators in your audience who will now punish me for what I'm about to say, about to do, but I would like to interject in your answers. Okay, so
Go.
this is a big faux pas, right, for facilitators. They shouldn't tell their customer, their you know, the participants to do what they, right?
It's
But
okay.
anyway, I think you should do the green one.
Empathy and relational
Because
skills. Okay.
yeah, because I think that you don't have a green card yet, and I think it's a crucial part of your skill set that you
Let me
have, that you are a green person.
let me question why you're doing that. I'll be the facilitator. But let me have a look here because I think you have a point.
No, what were you just saying?
No, I'm talking to myself because I think you have a point. I just wanted to have a look because I think also what's important is probably to go back and then look at the bigger picture and not just hone in on these smaller things because I want to see what's the picture
Mm-hmm.
I'm building.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm gonna work with you on this one.
You can revisit it, right? Because
Yeah.
we have another card left. We're just trying on clothes, so you
So
can
yeah. So
take
I mean, if you're watching this and think that I'm copying out because I'm just following Marilusa's advice, drop a comment. But I think she's right on this one.
Sometimes when people follow my advice, I feel a bit guilty or something, and then
Yeah.
I'm trying to talk you out of it. That's really stupid.
You mustn't do that because I mean the other thing is also I'm going in back of my mind. Usually you charge people for that advice, so I'm getting it for free. So I'm gonna. Oh, I mean the thing is you're not gonna talk me out of this one,
Okay.
okay? Because I want okay. So bringing people together that's important, right? That's very
Mm-hmm.
touchy feely. Planning ahead, I can go with that.
Mm-hmm.
But damn it, do I feel ideas into action is important? I
I
like I'm
completely agree.
that's non-negotiable. Like I've put my foot down.
I'm not fighting you on it. Yes, but I'm
You
not
should have
fighting
you
you
should
on
have
it.
you should have fought me on it because then it doesn't look like I copped out on the other one. But
No, but you know, I think that now it is important that the green one is there.
yeah,
But of course, it is your animal, and if you are printing it and putting it on your cupboard later, which I highly recommend for you to do, then you need to be inspired. So if you say, okay, creativity is so key for me, I want to put it in. Okay, I will allow it.
That's great. So, Marloes, if I may, I just want to quickly talk through this and with you. Is there another step that we have to follow? Step 4?
No, because if you go to I'm ready on the bottom,
Yeah.
what happens is you get your final figure. Just go
Yeah.
right ahead. You can always
Let's
go
do
back.
it.
And
There it
then
is.
you can, yes, and now you can print it and download it as a PNG,
Awesome.
I think, and then you can print it. So
Yeah. But I'm going to do that on my own time. But the thing is, it's really cool. I just want to quickly run through it. So for the show, at the core of the show, we have wisdom, the wisdom animal. And then looking at the brain part is focusing on individuality, the power of the individual, then also to have a meaningful life and to bring meaning to other people. And then the arms, the how, right, is intuitive and mindful, curious, dedicated to craft, because I'm keen on bringing something tangible, and also I'm very curious about what people are doing. And then also empathy, relational skills. Marloes's one, I'll never forget that one, but I think it's a good choice. And then finally, ideas into action, which is super important. I think one thing that really brings a lot of people that I talk to, clients, people that I work with, it's cool to have ideas, but if it doesn't turn into some kind of action or has
love
impact,
that.
it's super important.
Yeah, I
Wow.
think this one will make all the difference in your field, because it's also a bit my field, and it is very true that our field sometimes needs that putting
Yeah.
it into action. And so I have a question for you, right? Because this, if you're a facilitator, this is a perfect moment to ask reflective questions, right? So I want to ask you, which ones of the leg cards, no, the arms and the legs, so the 4 how cards, which ones you are very comfortable with and you have had since you were very young, and which ones are new and a bit more aspirational?
So, I mean, it is very easy. So, curious and dedicated to craft, I think, is there. I mean, of course, I feel like I can always work more on craft. Ideas into action is something that's in my DNA, but still something I have to work on, and that's why it's there. But the 2 things that I think I need to work more on is intuitive and mindful. Because as you've probably seen in the show, I also talk a lot, and I need to also be a bit more mindful, also be a bit more
It's
connected.
fine.
And then
Okay.
also empathy and relational skills, because the other thing is also like I'm this in a way I'm a huge introvert, and and also the fact that design also has this huge empathetic element to it, so that needs to, you need to use these things to listen, but then also having some kind of relational skills, which is super important. So I would say on that side of the animal is where I need to do more work and focus more on. So that was a good question, Marloes.
But okay, so and because we were not building this for you to print out and hang on your closet, in the sense that I want to push you to personally grow. No, the purpose of this purpose anatomy,
It's
and
for the
we call
show.
this purpose anatomy, right?
Yeah.
That was the show. So how does this help you define the content of your show? Do you know?
So for me, I mean, the thing is, and maybe I'm making a mistake here, and you're welcome to challenge me, but I think, the show or the stream is both the guests, bringing the guests in and the content, but then also the role that I play in the facilitation of the show, right? And I think it's like, for me, what's
Of
important
course.
is like, like I need to make sure that my guest shines, and that's usually like get out of the way. Also, the thing is, I think a big thing in our world at the moment, which I still struggle with and that I have to focus on every day, is like that empathy element of like, also kind of getting out of the way and allowing other people's space, also understanding their side of things, and allowing for those kind of conversations to come in, right? And then, the other thing that's also important is that through this medium, of course, I want different people to connect, and I want to be able to connect them, even if I'm not directly involved. So it's it makes sense to me. And I don't know,
So
like you can challenge me on that if you feel like I'm
yeah,
post
yeah.
rationalizing
What
too
I
much.
really like about your right hand and your left hand is that the one pushes you to gather a lot of information and a lot of potential guest speakers, and the other one forces you to make a selection, especially for meaning, right? Because there's a lot of cool tools and they're all very fabulous, but which ones are the ones that really offer value? I mean, offer meaning, you know? And
Perfect.
so I think that is perfect for your channel.
And I
And I
think,
think also
yeah,
what you said before, sorry, I'm pushing what I want to say. You just said I want to get out of the way, and I completely disagree with this in such a terrible extent. I really want to say this because I think you should not get out of the way, because you should be the representative of your viewers, right? I am the guest speaker. I want to do something to your viewers, but I can't because there are 200,000 of them, I'm estimating. And so I'm doing it to you, right?
yeah,
So you have to be as personal as possible and as real as possible and as authentic and human as possible, right?
that's an
And put your
interesting,
heart
yeah.
into it.
I'm trying, Marloes. I'm trying. But that's a good insight. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
now the ideas into action one, I'm not sure if it's as inspiring for you, right? What do you
I'm
think?
still very, so I mean, I'll tell you where what is important for me. So even with my upcoming guests, that is graciously agreed to also jump in like and do this crazy thing like you did, Marloes, is that the one thing that I want to set down with them, and I think you saw I did this conversation with you, is that, what is the one element of value that we can give to the viewers? What is the thing that someone can take away from this conversation or from this stream that they can go and put into action? So I wanna be able to, be a facilitator of that, so that the viewers can get something that I can do this
Yeah.
too, right? I can go and,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Yeah,
like we've
agreed.
gone through this process. Yes, we've shown the tool, and hopefully a lot of people will go and buy it or talk to you. But I feel like hopefully what we've shown is this is hugely accessible, and it's also
Yeah.
no, you can actually, it's purposeful. I mean, I use the word, but it has an impact on
Yeah.
business, right? It's not just have fun and games. And I think we used it when
Yeah.
we first spoke. It's not a gimmick. I don't want to talk
Yeah.
about gimmicks.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So exactly. And that is exactly why I think you should be in the center, because then you turn you because we are very polite people, you and me. I think we are both very into we were very well raised to consider other people's feelings and to have a good time, to be
Yeah,
chatty and nice and fun. And so if you get to your intuitive and mindful space, I can completely imagine how you will become, well, not guru like, but a bit more, um, oh my God, let's see what Werner is thinking about this, because I know that he only picks the very best things that I can use immediately. You know what I
well,
mean?
yeah. Maurice, I appreciate this. This is really like, and thanks for your kind words and also your facilitation. I really appreciate it. And do you realize that we have already been talking for nearly an hour and a half?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so but I do think that what I want to say to you is how can you use it now? It is an important point, even though it's way too late in
Yeah.
the
So no, I mean,
hour
for
that we
me,
would.
the thing is like, I mean, I think the first way I'm going to do it or use it is that, I mean, I have a couple of guests coming up, so it's definitely going to shape the conversations that I'm going to have with the guests, right? So there's a lot of elements that I want to be able to tick. Is this ideas into action? But to be honest with you, even when we met and when I spoke to Shauna and Tamara and them, some of the first guests, I wanted to express to them, what it is that I want to do. So, for example, I would say, like, I want the guests to have some kind of takeaway. And I remember one of the guests said, "But do you want to download? What do you want?" And it wasn't really something tangible.
Yeah,
It was more, like, if they can go away from this and have some idea that they can put into action, for example. So it kind
yeah,
of gives me better words to have better conversations with my guests so
yeah,
that they know where I want to
yeah.
go with this.
Yeah, and I think that also we talked about before the bill of requirements, right?
Yeah,
You can take this and write down on just, a piece of paper, like a real piece of paper. Okay, just write down for every card, what does this mean for my bill of requirements? What guest do I pick? And then does he meet or
yeah,
does she meet this requirement or the tool or the topic or whatever,
exactly.
you
Yeah, and
know?
I think that is the important part that we probably haven't touched on is that, I mean, I'm not going to take this picture and show my guests. I need to now go and
Yeah, right.
actually I need to craft this
Yeah,
into something like a, like a
exactly.
positioning
Yeah.
statements, maybe some guides around, like we've gone through this process where we kind of prepared, but now I can use some of these elements to make the preparation a bit more meaningful and insightful for the guests, make them feel comfortable that the content they're bringing makes sense. So good stuff, good stuff.
Very good stuff.
So, Marloes, I mean, I want to start leaning towards allowing you to go back to your husband and your kid, and you also had a long day. But the other thing I wanted to mention, I just want to change the screen back to. Thank you so much for this. I'll speak to you later
So
about.
what we usually offer, yeah, what we also offer is you keep 24 hours access to this tool, right? So if you want to go back and think, no, it's not ideas to action, I'm kidding, or it's not the green one, then you can go back and change it, right? And just try on different combinations of your outfit.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, this is cool. And the other thing I wanted to touch on just before we kind of close down is that you're also making this experience available to a select few people. And I think I have the actual URL here. There it goes. It should be on the screen. Do you
Oh,
want
you
to?
made it so pretty.
I try.
That's
I
so nice.
try. It's dedicated to craft. I have it now on my animal.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but you are crafty. Is that the word? Anyway.
Good stuff. So, if I
Yeah,
may just get you to talk a little bit about this, because people can jump into a
yeah,
session. Potentially, there's going to be a lucky draw
yeah,
or a selection to actually go through the
yeah,
process I just did, and it's super valuable. So, Marloes.
yeah. Yeah, it's so fun because what we do with the Traction Toolbox, we do every month an exclusive invite-only session for Zenith. And for this, we handpick people we think will be facilitators or, people in large corporations that have a lot of colleagues they can help this tool with, or people like people who are in branding or consumer research, people like that, and they come into a session that is very similar to what we did here today with you. So you get to experience you get to build your own animal, and we will facilitate the session. So we do this once a month, and what we decided is that we want to offer you the chance to win access to this exclusive session.
Very cool.
So it's not just access to the tool. It is a session where we will facilitate you, right, and be the question asker and stuff. And so what we would like to ask you is to fill out this form that the link is in the screen, and it's just the contact form of the Traction Toolbox. And if you can fill out in the message section why it is super, super, super important for you right now to talk about purpose. And,
There
and
you
then we
have it.
will handpick a winner. Yeah, we will handpick a winner, and they will be invited to our exclusive Zenith session.
Excellent. And Marloes, I just want to say thank you to you, the Traction Strategy guys, gals, actually, I should say. I need to be careful
Girls,
and
yeah,
mindful.
really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
both.
gals, my friends, for their support, also for the availability. I can really highly recommend it. You've seen me going through this. We've taken a lot of time, but usually Marloes squeezes this into an hour or so. That's without having a South African guy ask all kinds of
Yeah.
questions and interrupting. But I really recommend this. I'm super excited about this, and I highly recommend it. People go out there, go to innovationordinosaur.com/contact, fill in the form there. At the very least, you get to talk to Shauna and Tamara as well. And if you're lucky, you get to be
Yeah.
in a session with Marloes. So, and we'll post this
Yes.
anywhere. I already tried to put a link into some of the chats. But we'll definitely repost it again next week so that people can get access and also view this. Marloes, I wanna wrap up. I'm gonna do my closing segment here in a minute, but I also wanted to thank you for being on the show with me and taking the time to show this awesome tool, and hopefully you'll come back at some stage again to have more conversations with me about this. And what can I say? Thank you very much.
Well, I would like to thank you for the opportunity. I think it was amazing. And I love that we actually did something. That was just the coolest thing, right?
It's my first practical live stream. And thank you for doing all this. And, there was an electric fire. We barely hung on to your internet after your laptop came back on. But, hopefully this will
I'm still a bit
justice.
fussy.
Yeah, she's not really fuzzy in real life. She's actually very high definition, very high definition. Anyways, Marloes, I'll chat to you after the show. I'm just going to close down here. I want to say to everybody, thank you so much. If I lean this way, I'll get out the graphic way. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you're still sticking around, the one thing I want to ask you, if you want to know when I'm going live again, when we do something like this, or want to give me some feedback, head over to my website, vanderpoeger.com. Please join my mailing list, because I even sent some mails out today to a couple of folks to tell them that I'm going live, because usually when I do these live sessions, it's really hard to ride the algorithm and not spam everybody all over the place. So if you want to know when we're going live, jump on my mailing list. The other thing I also want to say is that a couple of folks have asked me, how am I doing these live streams? They've asked me about some of the technology, some of the equipment I use. Of course, I'm also still figuring out, but I've drawn up some documentation, shown some graphs and stuff of how this is done and some of the software and equipment. So if you want to have that as well, jump on my mailing list, because I'm going to be sending it out to the folks on the mailing list. So it's Friday. Let's go watch Justice League Snyder Cut or something cool and have a beer. So, and thank you for watching, and catch you in the next one. Ciao.